more on the Top Gun's record-breaking weekend at the office. Let's bring in AMC CEO Aron. He's joining us first on Squawk Box. And Adam, all of these different metrics that we just ran through, all these superlatives, which is the metric that is most important to you?
Well, good morning, Becky. And, I'm actually not going to give you an interview now. I'm just going to say, put Julia back on and let her talk more about what a historic weekend this was for the movie business. The most important thing for us is how many people are coming to our theaters. And in our case at AMC, we had 3.3 million people watch Top Gun over this Memorial Day holiday weekend. It is the biggest Memorial Day weekend movie of all time. I actually think that when Paramount releases numbers today, they'll be higher than what you've seen in the press reports. This is 2.5 times the biggest Tom Cruise movie opening ever. We're just euphoric.
You said that 3.3 million people. I know that's a huge increase over Memorial Day last year. Is that a record in terms of people? Because, obviously ticket prices are up. People were paying for premium experiences here. If you're looking at just people coming through, where do we stand now versus pre-pandemic?
It's a record for us for a single movie title. In total, we had about 5 million people in our theaters watching not only this movie, but the other 20 titles that are playing at AMC. And wait till you see what's coming, because this is just the first of many. Jurassic World Dominion opens in 2 weeks. Pixar's Lightyear's a week after that. And the summer is just a flood of great movie titles. Thor and Minions. There's an Elvis biopic starring Tom Hanks, which from Baz Luhrmann, who did Moulin Rouge way back when. It's going to be a big, big summer, in our opinion. And then it just continues all the way to Christmas. Avatar 2 is coming in December. Avatar was the biggest movie of all time back when it was released ages ago. So needless to say, at theater chains, thank you, Tom Cruise. We are very excited.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one thinking that. If we're looking at your stock today, last I looked, it was up by about 12%. I don't think that's because of Top Gun alone. I think that's because people really do think that this is going to bring people back to the movie theaters. Does it change your strategy at all? Are you going to be looking at this and saying, okay, we can really focus on our bread and buttered, or maybe our buttered popcorn here, and know that this is a viable option? Maybe you don't need to branch out in some of the ways you've talked about branching out.
Well, we're going to continue to branch out because we're able to do so and we're good at it. And so there are various new business ventures coming. But, even though we were diversifying, we were never taking our eye off the ball, our core business. I've been a big cheerleader for the return of movie theater business. I always thought the conventional wisdom was simply wrong, that somehow we were an anachronism. Americans, and for that matter, people the world over, have enjoyed going to the cinema for over a century. And we've known, just look at Spider-Man No Way Home back in December, and the Marvel Doctor Strange movie just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. When
Hollywood makes movies and releases them in theaters that people want to see, they're coming out in huge numbers to enjoy our theaters. So we're excited. We're confident. We know that we're on a path to recovery from 26 months of pandemic, but we're still going to diversify too. There's more in us than just movie theaters.
You got to do us a favor, though, Adam. Got to do us a favor. Got to do 2 things for us here in this interview, please, and congrats.
More popcorn.
Well, no, hold on. So your stock right now is up 12% in the pre-market. So, and maybe give us a word of encouragement to all the owners of your stock out there. Obviously, you know what they've been doing. But more importantly, how many commercials are going to be at the beginning of movies? Is there going to be a limit to the number of commercials? Because if your movie starts at 2, I'm showing up at like 2:15.
Well, to the first of your questions, as you know, retail investors have descended on AMC over the past year and a half. We're very grateful to those people. They own our company. I've said many times I work for them. But in addition to that, they've given us and entrusted us with a lot of money. We ended the first quarter with $1.4 billion of cash. And that that makes us financially strong to weather this crisis. As for trailers, we do have a limit. We do not show ads during trailers as some other people do. We limit the number of trailers to 6 or 7. What we've seen from people is they like watching these trailers, seeing what's coming in the theaters over the next many months. Having said that, we have also been very clear on our website that a movie actually starts 20 to 25 minutes after the published showtime. And we don't think that's a secret. We now have reserved seating at most of our theaters, so people don't have to rush to get to their chair.
That helps, by the way.
We think everybody's happy.
Hey, Adam, just looking at the stock, we've been running through a lot of metrics on this, up 282% since the pandemic began on March 11th of 2020, up almost a little more than 11% this morning. But if you were in this for the 1 year, it's down by about 38%. I think year to date, it's down pretty sharply, too. All of that makes your stock sales at the end of last year look pretty well timed. I think $42 million you sold. At the time, you said you would not be selling anymore. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I'm not selling stock. I don't like to admit this on CNBC, but I turned 67 years of age in September, and back last July, I said it was time for some estate planning and that I expected to sell some shares at the end of the year, which I did. I also said in mid-January that I was done selling, and I own almost 800,000 AMC shares. I have another 2.1 million AMC shares that have been granted that will vest over the next 2.5 years. Needless to say, I have an enormous incentive to act like a shareholder and think like a shareholder because I am one of the largest AMC shareholders.
You pointed out that retail investors have really embraced your stock, have poured into it. I think at one point it was something like 80% of your shareholders were retail investors. Is that still the case? How closely do you track it?
We track it, and generally speaking, those are still the numbers. Plus or minus a point or two, but the numbers that we said publicly were around 80%. As I said, plus or minus, it changes every day, but around 80%. But we also said if you take out the index funds who are forced to own our stock by definition, then retail investors are in the neighborhood of 85 to 90% of our shareholders. It's a lot of people out there, both in the U.S. and overseas, I might add, who believe in movie theaters, who believe in AMC. We're honored to have them as part of the AMC family. You
have worked with retail investors probably like no other CEO, just in terms of embracing, trying to do special things, reach out to them. What's the response that you get from them these days? Because it was probably one thing when the stock was going up. Is it a little tougher in a down market? You're not obviously the only stock that's down this year. It's been a rough year all the way around. But is that a different experience interacting with retail investors when the market changes direction? You are right that we have done a lot to communicate with our shareholders. I tweeted just this morning about Top Gun and our record performance this weekend. You're also right that we do a lot to incentivize them. We have over 665,000 of our shareholders who've joined something called AMC Investor Connect, where we've given them some benefits at our theaters, given them some early screenings as well. Are they happier when the share price is going up than going down? I think that's human nature, yes. But I would still tell you that when I read my Twitter feeds every day, and we get thousands of inbound messages every day, and again, if you take it all in total, this is a very enthusiastic, passionate, committed group of stockholders. We're honored that they're with us, and I hope they stay with us for a long time to come. I know you thought that this was going to be a great showing for Top Gun Maverick. You had tweeted about what a great movie it was. You sent out that picture that we just saw. Was there a point in the weekend when you thought, oh my gosh, this is so much better than I had even imagined in terms of the ticket sales coming in? What was the moment? Well, I hate to tell you that we predicted this one early, but I was on the phone with Tom Cruise
As one does.
No, not this weekend. Over a year ago, talking about how when Top Gun released in theaters, actually it was over a year ago, that this was going to be the thing that started the cavalcade of big movies and big audiences coming into theaters. And fast forward in August of 2021, I saw about the first 20 minutes of the movie, which is just stunning. For those who've seen the movie, they know it.
And maybe more importantly, Adam, we'll let you go, but also the end of hopefully people saying things like, we'll never do this again. We'll never go to the movies. Well, you know, all these people saying never, ever, this has changed permanently. I think we realized back, Adam, if you're out there, by the way, we lost your feed, so hopefully you're all right.
But he nailed it.
We go back to the movies, and we're going to go back to great and people are getting back on planes. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Our thanks to Adam, Aron. Sorry that we just lost the feed, but our thanks and congrats on a really great weekend and a great kickoff to the summer movie season. We'll see what comes from here.
Yeah.